I just want everybody to have this graphic to look at, and we'll break down the numbers from there. And I just want to make sure y'all all have something to follow along with, and you can write these numbers down. I'll leave it up for a while. And I want to thank Kathy as well as Callie as well for helping us with just numbers over the years here at HU. But right now, I want you to number your paper from 1 to 18. Okay, we're going to number your paper from 1 to 18 right now. This is going to be a lot of fun for you. I did this chart for the first time. When was it? When we first got here in 2019, and it never gets old for me personally. We'll tell you everything you need to know and all the pitfalls because we've done it. We've attempted it so many times, and despite the fact we failed, we've made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in network marketing, over $1 million in commissions, and a lot of it comes exactly from you about to hear. So drawing this out 18, we're just going to use 18 months as our time frame. Okay, we'll talk about really specifically what that means a little bit later, but we'll talk about 18 months right now and number your paper. And I want you to start numbering from April. You can write down April, May, and June. That's your first 3 months. Next to the number 4, you'd probably write July. Okay, next to the number 5, I want you to write August. Next to the number 6, I want you to write September. So take your time and get that written down, because I want you to write this down, not just screenshot it, because if you can learn how to present this information to people in your own way, ladies and gentlemen, it will be one of the most profound advances in your ability to explain a compensation plan and the ability to explain how to cast vision for people and get people really interested in what we're doing on the money side. Okay. And so month 8, month 9, and month 10 would be November, December, and January. Okay. Month 11, 12, and 13, you're still going down the same sheet of paper from 1 to 18. Okay. 11, 12, and 13 would be February, March, and April. Just keep on going. Month 14 would be May, 15 would be June, 16, July, 17, August. And we're going to finish up 18 months from now in September. Okay, I know it seems like some work, but ladies and gentlemen, if you want to write down some notes, you probably won't be successful in network marketing. It takes a lot more to be successful than just writing some stuff on paper on a Sunday night, okay? Now, for this particular example, we're going to just assume that everybody is doing 25 CV in volume, okay? We'll explain how the 100 CV makes a difference. That's what a lot of leaders do, myself and many others for sure. But we're just talking about 25 CV right now. And that can be as small as a bottle of Reliant essential oil, which is about $25 plus tax and shipping, or Prosper black seed oil, I think it's like $29. And you cannot use a gift card for that because that is going to diminish the CV. You can get 2 bottles of Align or 2 bottles of Prosper or whatever 25 CV product you want. You can get a bag of Slimmer, which is about $50, I believe, and you can use a gift card on that. But there needs to be 25 CV in volume for this particular thing to work. And now we're going to go ahead and get the graphic up for you. And you can kind of follow this. All right. Now I'll talk you through it, but I did want you to write it down for sure. I highly recommend you continue to do that. All right. Yeah. The net has to be 25 CV. And so, for example, in that first month, all right, let's say you joined HBN in April and you're learning, and I'll teach you exactly what you got to learn in about the next 10 minutes on this call. We have all of that covered for you tonight. But let's say you sponsored your first 2 people, and these are people who are pretty good network marketing prospects. These are not going to be negative Nellies who just joined your business because you twisted their arm, but these are going to be people who are solid, who want to be in networking, and they will, both be doing about $25, 25 CV worth of product a month on auto ship, and that's going to be $50 worth of volume that month. You'll make a little bit of money from the fast start, but we're not really going to be worried about how much money you make from there. Let me see if I can share start broadcast. There we go. All right, I think we're good. Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. All right, somebody put in the chat if y'all can hear me okay. Or if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, that'd be great. All right, cool. Can you hear me okay? All right, cool. So this is the graphic right here, ladies and gentlemen. And this graphic right here, I think this is the one that Kathy made. And we're just going to go right down to April. You cannot worry. Don't worry about January, February, and March. You might have joined HBN at the start of the year, but we're going to take it serious right now. And I just want to explain what you're seeing right there. Okay, let's look at the month of July. Okay, that should be the fourth month that we're building, the month of July 2023 right there. You have 16 people on your team, 16 people doing 25 CV of volume a month is $400 in volume for the month. And that would be $8 in profit right there on that level. I'm sorry, yeah, we're not from a cycle standpoint is what we're looking at. We're not worried about the $10. Don't just ignore that. Don't worry about that. That's some fast start stuff, matrix. Not worry about any of that. Okay. I just want you to see that the number of people there, if they're doing 25 CV in volume, it is going to equal that amount of volume. And then the check is going to be commiserate on the right-hand side. But I want to start off with September, which is 64 people. But let's talk about how we got there, because this is very, very important. Let's say, for example, I got started in the business in April and I learned, all right? And I'm going to give you this process to write down, all right? You can write this stuff down as far as how I learned. I learned and got started, and I sponsored my first 2 people in April. I'll teach you exactly how to do it in a second, but I got my first 2 people started in April. And let's say, for example, that was Bob and Alice, okay? And Alice and Bob in the month of April decided to learn. I didn't sponsor anybody new, just Alice and Bob. But when Alice and Bob decided to learn this stuff and fall in love with these products, Alice and Bob went and sponsored their own 2 people apiece the following month in May. Okay, so now my team went from 2 people, Alice and Bob, to 6 people because Alice and Bob sponsored 2 people apiece. Please let me know, put if that makes sense in the chat. Let me know if that makes sense. Just put in the chat if that makes sense or not. Okay, just let me know if that simple example makes sense. Okay, you get 2. I don't need to go sponsor 4 people. I'm just sponsoring 2 people for the purpose of this example. All right, hopefully that makes sense to everybody. All right, now next up, in the month of June, all right, you had 8 new people join the business. Those people learned in the month of June. They used the products. They're all spending only 25 CV, okay, which equals about $200 in sales volume. Okay. But the next month in July, those 8 brand new people are going to sponsor 2 people apiece, which means that 16 new 25 CV reps have joined my organization. Okay. And now my total team size is somewhere around 30. All right. Now let's pause there. Screenshot that. Everybody screenshot that right now if you're on your phone. Screenshot that graphic. All right. I'm going to give you another couple of seconds. Please screenshot that graphic. And I'll come back, I'll reference it again shortly, but screenshot that graphic, okay? Awesome. All right, everybody's got to stop share. Perfect, okay. Now, does anybody have any questions about just a person getting 2 people? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about just the simplicity of that? Thank goodness. All right, great. Y'all are a sharp group and I appreciate y'all. Now, this is what I recommend you do, because getting 2 people started in business, all right, is a huge oversimplification, and it will rarely work out where the first 2 people you sponsor are the Will Zanders or the Melissa Browers or the Marcus Joneses of HBN and so on and so forth. They may not be Wanika Vance Clark, the first 2 people you sponsor, all right? But I'm going to tell you some stuff right now. After we go through the rest of these numbers, I'm going to tell you how to raise the odds that you're going to get the right people upfront and early. And this is something that me and Coach Marcus talk about this every day, and I really want to share it all with y'all. Okay, but let's go through the rest of these numbers very quickly. Okay, so when we're in business and we're building 2 by 2, we're providing support to our teams and things of that nature. When we get down into March, for example, let's look at March. You have 4,096 people in your team. All right. Some of you in HBN right now have 50 and 60 and 70,000 people in your team. But okay, 4,096 people at your team at 25 CV. That is going to equal 102,400 in volume just on that one level. Now, when you get that amount of volume, especially if you're building 2 by 2, one on your left, one on your right, and teaching people how to do the same, even if it's just a $25 gift card, We want you to get the products, but if someone says, I just want to build a digital business, no tax, no shipping, I'm healthy, and I just want to make the money, okay, I don't recommend that, but sure, $25 gift card will even work. Just set it up on auto ship. That's 102,400 in volume. Now, the computer is going to divide the amount of volume by 400. Do not ask me why. I don't know. Don't worry about it. It's just what the computer does. It's going to divide it by 400. Okay. And if you are at 25 CV, the computer will then multiply the result of that number by 8. And that is going to give you your check on that level for the month. Just on that level. You'll get paid on all the other levels too. All right. Now I want to give you an example of this to make sure that this part makes sense. In the month of March, and if you got a calculator and you're on the file or just write this down, you can. In the month of March, you have 4,096 people in your organization. We're going to multiply that by 25 CV orders, which gives us 102,400 in volume. The algorithm will then divide that number by 400, and that is going to give us a total of 256. All right. I'm going to say that one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, does that make sense? I don't want to leave anybody behind. Does that make sense? Just put a yes in the chat if that makes sense. We're talking about the month of March right now. That's 12 months in. I see a couple. Let me get a couple more. Okay, good. That makes sense. Okay. Now that number was 256. If you are at 25 CV, the computer will multiply that number, 256 times 8, and that is going to be your check. All right. That's about $2,000 a month on that one level. If you are at 50 CV, the computer is going to take that same number, 256, but it's going to multiply it by 16, which means your check would be a little over 4,000 a month. And if you have a team of 4,096 people, all the people except for you are at 25 CV, that's over 102,000 in volume. Computer's going to divide it by 400. But if you're at 100 CV, the computer's going to multiply 256 by 24, which means your check is going to be $6,000 a month, give or take. Okay. So the difference between making a check of 2,000 a month, 4,000 a month, or 6,000 a month is not based upon the amount of that people are buying in your group as much as it is how much volume you have personal for yourself that month. So if you and me both have a team that's the same size, that's doing over 100,000 in volume, even just on that one level, okay? If you're at 25 CV, you make 2,000 a month. If I'm at 100 CV, I make 6,000 a month. We only have a difference in $75 in volume for ourselves, the difference between 100 CV and 25. But the check will be $4,000 bigger for me. So don't let $75 cost you $4,000. But here's my point. I don't want you to worry about 100 CV right now because most people in network marketing, we talked about the average, they're only making $24 a month. Okay? They're only making $24 a month. We know what these people are really making at these other companies. And guess what? I hate to say it. I know what a lot of y'all are making here. All right. I know what you're making here. Some of you anyway. All right. And it's not what you want. It's easily over $24 a month. I can tell you that. I think everybody knows that. $8 a profit. Sure. That's easy money over here at HBN. But I want 2023 to be the year where you grow beyond. So that would be a year worth of building. But remember, you only sponsored 2 people total that stuck around and wanted to build. Let's look at what happens in those last couple of months. Yeah, look, Seymour knows we at that 100 CV. We ain't playing. But you're going to have a lot of people that will say, I don't want to do 100. Let me go to this other company with inferior products. Let me go to this other company with inferior pay plan. Let me go to this other company because I perceive it as cheaper. I can't afford 100 CV or 200 VP pack, but I can do 20 or 30 or $40 a month. I'm going to go to another company for that. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to have a bad experience and they're going to end up quitting the entire industry, just like a lot of people do within their first 5 years. We talked about the statistics. So I never want anybody to say you can't do HBN if you're not at 100 CV, just because Seymour and Will and Wendy and everybody else do it. That doesn't mean you have to do it. People, listen, do y'all know that when I first started HBN, I had a 25 CV order. Y'all know I didn't do 100 CV when I first started HBN. I didn't know any better. I had money. I was the number one earner at another company. The number one earner, not a number two, not a three. I was the guy at another company. And what happened? I still started HBN with 25 CV. It's not that I didn't have the money. I didn't know any better. Okay? I didn't know any better. So what I'm telling you is don't neglect 25 CV orders because they duplicate really, really, really fast. And these products are so exciting and so amazing that people will often upgrade themselves and say, ooh, that Align essential oil was banging. I need to try that Nova coffee. Man, that Nova's incredible. I wonder what the Java Sim tastes like. People will talk themselves into contributing more in volume. But let's just go to the last level, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to just level 18. This is September. This is September of 2024. This is what I want to do. This is what I hope a lot of y'all want to do. We go all the way to September 2024 and we look at the numbers right there. Follow me on the sheet if you screenshotted it, okay? You got 262,144 people in your organization on that one level, and you only sponsored 2 of them, okay? Now, if you were to think about it, you would have to add all those other levels up, which is perfectly fine, to get the total. So let's get the total. I'm gonna give it to you. Let's get the total for how many people are in that organization. So we have 262,144. And if I were to add all those other numbers, it would come out to 262,142. All right. So when I add that up, my final total is going to be 524,286 people in the organization. This is not something that happens overnight. It never will in any network marketing company. But if you take a solid year and a half, maybe 2 years, if you really understand the value of teaching this one thing and really focusing, you can have a team of that size, okay? It'll happen for you. Now, when you look at a team of 524,286, hypothetically speaking, let's multiply that times 25. That's all people are doing, 25 CV. And that is 13,107,150. That's not your check. That's the amount of volume that goes into an organization, okay? That's how much sales volume your organization created, even though you only sponsored 2 people and everybody's doing 25 bucks. All right. The computer is going to divide that number by 400, and that is going to give you 32,767.8. We're just going to call it 32,768. All right. That's just what we're going to call it. Easy. 32,768. And we're going to multiply that times 8 because you're at 25 CV and your whole team's at 25 CV. And that is going to be a total check that month of $262,144. Now pause. Here's why we did this whole example for you and showed the algorithm, because I wanted you to see this shortcut. Look at the number of people on that level, 262,144, and look at how much your HBN check is, 262,144. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the month of August and we did the same calculation, if all you had was a team size that built up to that, your check would be identical to the number of people in the organization. That is your cheat sheet. Your cheat sheet is, if I'm at 25 CV and my team is at 25 CV and I build this thing 2 by 2 with no deviation whatsoever, my check, I will get paid $1 for every person in this organization down an infinite number of levels. Your team's 300,000 people, guess what? Your team's 300,000, your check is $300,000 a month. Your team is 10,000 people, guess what? Your check is $10,000 a month. Okay, but you got to get it up past those first, 10, 12 months to get that. Does everybody understand the shortcut? Does everybody understand that if you're at 25 CV and your team's at 25 bucks, 20 plus tax and shipping, do you understand that you'll be paid $1 per person in your organization, even though you only bought in 2 of them? Okay, I just need you to understand that. You want a big check, you got to build a big team. And a big team can be built with 25 CV or 100 CV, but that's what it works. Now, here's what we see. 262,000 people and everybody doing 25 CV. We know that the volume is a lot. We know that whole, you know what I'm saying? So that's how it works, okay? So please understand, this is the way HBM binary works. It's not that you're really being paid $1 per person. You're not. It's what the numbers break down as. I just gave you the whole algorithm. I just gave you times volume divided by 400, multiplied times. So we gave you the whole algorithm. So no, it's not technically $1 per order. Let's not be silly. We're talking about the total amount, and that's just how to calculate your check. Okay. Now, if you were a person who said, hey, wait a minute now, I want the big money. Okay. I'm going to do 100 CV, even if my team is doing 25. Okay. Well, we know that volume's 13 million. We talked about that. We know that once the computer divides it, it comes out to about 32,768. We talked about that. But if you're at 100 CV, even if your team is all at 25 CV, your check at that level is going to be $786,000 that month. That's the difference in what $75 is different for you. Okay, well, Will, you just gave us a lot of information. You told us what would happen if we did all of this stuff. Let me give you 3 things that's going to make this really resonate with you. Number 1, it rarely breaks down this way. I built teams of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. It rarely breaks down this way. Let me tell you the way it really, the money will be the same, but let me tell you how it really breaks down. You're going to have about 5 or 6 people that you sponsor that don't do jack nothing. Okay, then you got another 5 or 6 who you sponsor, who one of them's going to maybe go executive, and the other 5 or 6 are going to be products, and they're not going to introduce you to nobody. Then you got one other person you sponsor that's going to sign up 40 people. That's how it works. And out of the 40 people they sponsor, 10 of them going to quit. Okay, another 10 of them are going to use the products and quit building. Another 10 are going to get confused and go to another company, but the other 10 are going to sponsor 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people, some of them. And so the numbers will still end up properly so long as you engage in the right amount of sponsoring. But this is how it looks on paper in the computer back office when it really works. And take it from somebody who's built teams of hundreds of thousands of people and done 8 figures in volume just at this company. I'm telling you, this is how it really works. So if you can just understand that principle of 2 by 2 and never stop sponsoring, you're going to do really, really well.